Now I think we'll go back to the E form this time and take a look at scales which you may have heard of, referred to as pentatonic scales. Now penta simply means 5 tonic notes, so they're a 5-note scale. The major scale had 7, so it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the octave 8, same as the first. So pentatonic, simply to find the major pentatonic, we need to leave 2 notes out. And all we need to know to learn these patterns very, very quickly by ourselves is to know which 2 notes to leave out. And the 2 notes that we leave out will be the 4th and the 7th. So if we simply played our major scale that we already know, 1, 2, 3, leave that note out and go straight to the next note. Leave out the 7th note and go straight to the... We would have formed a major pentatonic. Let's listen. Hear how that sits nicely over the G major. Let's continue on leaving those 2 notes out. 1, 2, 3. Leave the 4th out, straight to the... and leave the 7th out. Let's finish it off by playing this 2nd note again, the A note. Notice the fingering is exactly the same that you used for your E form on the major scale. We'll break the rules later on when we need to slide or hammer, but for learning purposes, just learn the same fingering. It keeps everything simple and uniform. Again, try to look at shapes. That will speed up your learning of the scale. I'm just going to see what shapes we can find within it. Here's a rectangle. It's like a square just pushed on its side, and a square at the top. That's a great scale for improvising and also for adding embellishments to your chords using a term called double stops. That simply means playing 2 notes together. And I refer to it all the time in the scale as just joining the dots. So if you were to look at the first 2 strings, you would see these notes. They form a straight line. That's quite a nice sound. The next 2 strings would create this shape. Okay. And again we can hammer. The next 2 strings would create a 3rd interval shape. And then it becomes quite easy because the next few shapes are all straight lines. And finally, an angled shape like a 3rd interval. I'm just going to improvise for a moment just to show you the potential of some of these. And later on we'll look at the major and the minor and put them together, and you'll come up with quite a lot of that almost Hendrix type chordal playing when you hear chords with pentatonic ideas. A lot of that type of sound. Now finally we're going to add one more note to that, and that should do us for this this session. I'm going to add one more note, and it's referred to as the minor third. I'm just going to give you the fingering for it, and this will be our blues scale. I'm going to come from the top up, 5, 3, 5, 3, 4, 3, there's our odd note, very dark sounding, 2nd fret, 5th fret, 2nd fret, our big rectangle. Then I'm going to slide down one more, back up. Okay, let me do that again for you slowly. 3 in a row, stretch, rectangle, down 1, back up to the 5th fret. That's our. Yeah, that sits nicely. So take your time with all this material. It does take a while to build up. If you're doing it on a daily basis, just warm up with the chordal exercise I gave you. Take one form. Remember, there's only 5 of them you're ever going to learn. So the more time you can spend with the first one, get really familiar with it and the sound and visual of it, spotting intervals. You should find that when you approach the second, the D form, it should be much easier for you. And you're nearly halfway there to having the 5 forms down. And then we can look at them in more depth and apply them to different styles.